Today I'm going to be showing you guys my horror VHS collection. I'm really excited. All of these VHS have been thrifted, mostly from Goodwill, also a little bit from garage sales, yard sales, things like that. So let's get into it. But before that, I want to show you guys this little guy that I thrifted the other day. It's from 1989 and it's a moving imposable little skeleton holding a jack-o'-lantern, and it's really cool because it came with the original box. As you can see here, these are all the variations that it came in. I really like the little devil and the Dracula. There's a little ghost. I just love the little gravestones at the bottom. So that's really, really cute. I just really liked to add something to my collection that's actual classic Halloween. So now that I showed you guys that, let's get into my VHS collection. So as you can see, I have my VHS right here behind me. I don't have them in alphabetical order or anything like that. I kind of just have them by how I like how the titles look and things like that. So I'm just gonna get started from top to bottom. The first VHS in my collection is Friday the 13th, the original Friday the 13th. A group of teenage camp counselors are murdered one by one by an unknown killer while attempting to reopen an abandoned summer camp. This one is such a classic, and it's just iconic in the whole summer slasher genre as well. I love it. Next I have the original 1978 Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis. On Halloween night 1978, escaped convict Michael Myers returns to his hometown of Haddonville, Illinois, where he looks for his next victims. I feel like no collection is complete without Halloween. It's just one of my favorites, and I love how the case of this one looks. But I have two versions of this one. This is my second copy of Halloween 1978, and I love this one because it has that lenticular cover. So cool. And I really like how on this one it says Blockbuster Presents on the side, and on the back it has the little Blockbuster logo. So this was like a Blockbuster version of this VHS. Next I have Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, one of my favorite Halloween horror queens. The horror movie hostess turns a puritanical community on its ear when she arrives in town to claim her inheritance. I love Elvira so much. I've dressed up like her before, and this is just a must-watch for any Halloween horror lover. Next I have Zombie, The Dead Are Among Us. This is a 1979 Italian horror film directed by Lucio Fulci. Strangers searching for a young woman's missing father arrive at a tropical island where a doctor seeks the cause and cure of a recent epidemic of the undead. I really want to add more Italian horror to my collection, so I really like this one a lot. Look at that cover too. It almost looks like a Rob Zombie movie. Next we have the classic Scream, the original Scream. Suburban high school student Sydney Prescott and her friends become targets of a masked serial killer known as Ghostface on the anniversary of her mother's murder. Scream is one of my favorite horror franchises, so of course I have to have this one. Next we have another one of my favorites, Nightmare on Elm Street, the original from 1984. Suburban teenagers fall prey to Freddy Krueger, a disfigured killer who preys on them in their dreams, which in turn kills them in reality. Freddy is one of my favorite horror icons, and I love how it has the little picture on the side from the bed scene. All of the titles on these VHS are just so cool, like all of the different fonts, and I love how most of them are red and black. Like when you line them all up on the shelf, they just look so good. Next I have Creepshow from 1982. This has always been one of my favorites. The cake-headed candle scene is just so cool. It's a horror anthology directed by George A. Romero and written by Stephen King, and it's an homage to the EC horror comics of the 1950s such as Tales from the Crypt and The Vault of Horror. I love that cover so much. Next I have Psycho. It's a modern version of the 1960 Hitchcock film in which an embezzler arrives at an old motel run by a mysterious man named Norman Bates. This is the version starring Anne Hesh, but I really want to get the classic Psycho on VHS to add to my collection as well. Next up we have another one of my favorites, Bride of Chucky. Killer doll Chucky is resurrected by his ex-girlfriend Tiffany. After an argument, Chucky kills Tiffany and transfers her soul into a bride doll. The movie follows the two's journey to find the magical amulet that can restore them both to human form. Tiffany is just so iconic. She's another one of my favorite Halloween queens. I actually dressed up as Tiffany before. Make sure you go check out my video dressing like scary movie characters where I dressed up like Tiffany. I love her so much, and if you look on the back right here, it's actually showing one of the best scenes from the beginning where she resurrects Chucky. Honestly, the whole beginning of that movie is just so good. Like in her trailer, it's just so cool. I love Tiffany's room so much. I want my room to look like her room, and like her outfits and everything from the beginning, and like the whole scene when she's in the bubble bath. I just love it so much. And I also love the feature of Living Dead Girl by Rob Zombie over the credits. It's just, this movie had to be in my collection. Next up I have The X-Files. This is the TV movie, which was based on the TV series, and it takes place between seasons 5 and 6. It follows FBI agents Mulder and Scully, who were removed from their usual jobs on the X-Files and sent to investigate the bombing of a building and destruction of criminal evidence. They uncover what appears to be a government conspiracy to hide the truth about alien colonization of Earth. This is kind of more of a sci-fi, I would say, than horror, but I feel like it just had to fit into my collection because of the red and black, and it just looks so cool. Next I have The Mummy, the original black and white version of The Mummy. Boris Karloff stars as Imhotep, an ancient Egyptian mummy who was killed for attempting to resurrect his dead lover. After being discovered and accidentally brought to life by a team of archaeologists, he disguises himself as a modern Egyptian man and searches for his lost love, who he believes has been reincarnated in the modern world. So I would say this right here is what stapled and cemented The Mummy as such an icon of horror and Halloween, along with Frankenstein and Dracula and the likes. I grew up watching Under Wraps on the Disney Channel, which is a spin on The Mummy. Next I have Blade. A half mortal, half immortal is out to avenge his mother's death and rid the world of vampires. This is one of the coolest vampire movies. The opening scene is iconic. If you haven't seen it, go check it out, The Blood Rave. Definitely check the whole movie out. Next up I have 28 Days Later. A bicycle courier awakens from a coma to discover the accidental release of a highly contagious, aggression-inducing virus has caused the breakdown of society. This movie took a lot of inspiration from Night of the Living Dead, which is another iconic zombie movie. This one is more virus, pandemic, outbreaky. Next I have The Silence of the Lambs. This is one of the prettiest covers in my opinion. I love it so much. And also a really good movie. It follows a young FBI trainee who's hunting a serial killer named Buffalo Bill who skins his female victims. To catch him, she seeks the advice of the imprisoned Hannibal Lecter, a brilliant psychiatrist and cannibalistic serial killer. I love Anthony Hopkins as well as Jodie Foster. Two really great actors, so anything they're in is going to be amazing, but this is just one of the most iconic performances of Anthony Hopkins' career, and Jodie Foster as well, I would say. So definite must watch. And of course, like I said, Scream is one of my favorite horror franchises, so I have to complete the series. I have Scream 2. Sydney and reporter Gail survive the events of Scream, but their nightmare isn't over. When two college students are murdered at a preview of Stab, a movie based on the events of the first film, it's clear a copycat killer is on the loose. Of course, the first is my favorite, but I had to have them all in my collection, which is why I have Scream 3 next. The last installment of the trilogy is set in Hollywood, where Stab 3 is being shot. When a killer starts killing the cast off in order of the screenplay, only Sidney Prescott can solve the riddle and stop the killer. Now this one I do like because I love anything that has to do with Hollywood and acting and being on set, so I liked that little addition to this one. Next up I have King Kong Lives. After his apparent death, Kong is saved by modern medicine and impregnates mankind's newest discovery, female Kong. This is from 1987, and it's just another installment in the King Kong world. But I really like the title on this one, by the way. Looks so cool. Next up I have Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. This is the first of the Abbott and Costello horror movies that they did for Universal Pictures. In this one, Abbott and Costello star as railway baggage handlers, and when a pair of crates belonging to a House of Horrors museum is mishandled, they're tasked with delivering them personally, where they come face to face with Count Dracula, who's played by Bela Lugosi, who's trying to find a brain to reactivate Frankenstein's monster. So this is like a comedy horror, I would say, but a classic nonetheless. Next up I have the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Look how pretty that cover is. I love how it's holographic like that. Sweethearts Brad and Janet, stuck with a flat tire during a storm, discover the eerie mansion of Dr. Frankenfurter. As their innocence is lost, they meet a house full of wild characters. This is just another iconic performance by Tim Curry, who is also it, but this is just really amazing and ahead of his time, I would say. It's also more of like a comedy horror musical. just to let you know. But I love the font on that one as well, with the little blood drips. Next I have House on Haunted Hill. This is another horror classic, starring Vincent Price as a rich oddball Frederick Lauren with a proposal for 5 guests at a possibly haunted mansion. Show up, survive the night filled with scares, and receive $10,000 each. Vincent Price is an icon of horror, so this is a must-watch and a must-have in any horror collection. Next I have Horror Hotel. A small, out-of-the-way New England village is a front for the undead. When a young student arrives to study the town's mysterious history involving witchcraft, she gets more than she bargained for. This one is so cool. Look at the back. I love that. It's just such a goth classic. I love it. Next I have The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. This is a 1980 made-for-TV movie starring Jeff Goldblum. I love the cover of this so much. Just the jack-o'-lantern, the font on the name. It's just so good. Based on Washington Irving's story, a school teacher has a frightening encounter with a legendary headless ghost. And Jeff Goldblum is Ichibot Crane, so definitely a must-watch. Next up I have The Blair Witch Project. I feel like this is just such a must-have in any VHS collection just because of what this film is about and how it's shot. A found footage horror film that tells the story of 3 film students who have traveled to a small town to collect documentary footage about the Blair Witch, a legendary local murderer. This is one of the first found footage horror movies that I ever saw. Probably the first, around the time of Paranormal Activity and all of that. Probably the greatest of the found footage genre, I would say. Next up I have It, the original classic It. And this movie is so long that it has to be on 2 VHS. So it's big like that. Based on the Stephen King novel, in 1967, preteen outcasts fight an evil demon that poses as a child-killing clown. 30 years later, they reunite to stop the demon once and for all when it returns to their hometown. The original It is so iconic. I love the 2017 version as well, but I just had to have the original in my collection. Next up I have Jeepers Creepers. After making a horrific discovery in the basement of an abandoned church, Trish and her brother Derry watch their routine road trip home from college turn into a heart-stopping race for their lives. This movie stars Justin Long and Gina Phillips, and this is just a classic. If you like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and movies like that, I think you'll really like this one. And I just love this one because this is a horror movie that I have watched before with my grandpa, so it holds a special place in my heart. Next I have I Know What You Did Last Summer. A year after running over a fisherman and dumping his body into the water, 4 friends reconvene when one of them receives a frightening letter that their crime was seen. I actually just watched this one for the first time recently and I really liked it, so I'm glad that I have that added to my collection. To me, this is another iconic Y2K horror movie. Next I have Buffy the Vampire Slayer, The Slayer Chronicles Volume 3. So it's featuring the episodes Grad Day 1 and Grad Day 2 from Season 3, where Faith tries to kill Angel with a poison arrow as the Sunnydale High students prepare to do battle with a mutated mayor and his army of demons. The first episode features one of Buffy's best fight scenes as she battles Faith for the antidote Angel needs to save his life, Slayer's blood. I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I have some of the seasons on DVD, so I thought it was really cool to add these episodes to my collection on VHS. Next, I have The Shining. The film presents the descent into insanity of recovering alcoholic and aspiring novelist Jack, who takes a job as a winter caretaker for a haunted resort called the Overlook Hotel with his wife and clairvoyant son. This movie, iconic performances all around. Just so many icons of horror were bred in this movie. The pattern of the carpeting in the hallway, the 2 twins, red rum, the son riding around on the little trike. Just Jack Nicholson's performance, him coming through the door with the axe, and can we not forget Shelley Duvall. The lovely angel baby Shelley Duvall. Just so much. We could go on forever. There's so much lore behind this movie. Had to have it in the collection. Now, no VHS horror collection would be complete without a copy of The Ring. If you're gonna have a copy of this movie, it better be on VHS. And I love that cover as well. This movie follows a journalist who discovers a cursed videotape that causes its viewers to die in 7 days. This has become one of my favorite horror movies, and I would say it's probably one of the most iconic early 2000s horror movies. this is just like permeated into culture, the You're Gonna Die in 7 Days, it being featured in Scary Movie and all of that. And also that like blue-green tinge of the movie is just like so iconic for this era of horror, and I feel like this was probably one of the originators of that. So, love The Ring. Next, I have Young Frankenstein. Respected medical lecturer Dr. Frederick Frankenstein learns that he's inherited his infamous grandfather's estate in Transylvania. This is a parody of classic horror films of the genre and like the various adaptations of Frankenstein. This is made to look like it's a movie from the 1930s, so it's shot in black and white, and it was made with a lot of the like movie visual editing styles and techniques of the 1930s, but it's from the 1970s. And it features Gene Wilder, which is one of my favorite actors because I love Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the classic original version from the 70s, so much. And I had a whole phase of just watching that movie so much growing up. So, of course, had to have this. This is probably more of like a horror comedy as well, but if you like things like the Munsters and stuff like that, you'll like this. Next up, I have Gremlins. A salesman is looking for a gift for his son, and the shopkeeper is reluctant to sell him the mogwai, but sells it to him with the warning to never expose him to bright light, water, or feed him after midnight. This is a classic of 80s horror. I recently just thrifted a little Gremlins figure when he's in his bad mode, so love this one. Next I have Dawn of the Dead. This is George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. Hordes of zombies swarm over the US. The terrified populace tries everything in their power to escape the attack of the undead, but neither the cities nor the countryside prove safe. This movie is probably like one of the most iconic in the zombie genre and one of the originators of a lot of the tropes that we know today as zombie movies. Like The Walking Dead and all of that owes a lot to Dawn of the Dead. And I love the scenes in this movie, like where they're just overtaking the shopping mall, and it's so American and iconic. I love it. Next I have Bram Stoker's Dracula. Count Dracula, a 15th century prince, is condemned to live off the blood of the living for eternity. A young lawyer is sent to Dracula's castle to finalize a land deal, but when the count sees a photo of the lawyer's fiancée, the spitting image of his dead wife, he imprisons him and sets off for London to track her down. This is the version that we see screenshots shared of online with Winona Ryder, and this movie is just beautiful. I think this is one of the most gorgeous adaptations of the Dracula story. It's just so gothic and lush and beautiful. Next I have Hocus Pocus. No collection is complete without this. It's not horror, but it is a Halloween classic. This movie follows a villainous comedic trio of witches who are inadvertently resurrected by a teenage boy in Salem, Massachusetts on Halloween night. One of my favorites. If you love like classic Halloween movies, you have to have this. You have to see this or add this to your collection. Like if you like Halloween Town and all of that, you have to have this. Next up I have Edward Scissorhands. An unfinished artificial humanoid with scissor blades for hands is taken in by a suburban family and falls in love with their teenage daughter. I love Edward Scissorhands so much. It's one of my favorite movies, horror or not. And this is not horror. This is more of just like a spooky, gothy movie, I would say. And it has Winona Ryder and Johnny Depp, who are like goth icons, so had to have it. Beetlejuice. A recently deceased couple haunt their house as ghosts and cannot leave. They contact Beetlejuice, a bioexorcist and rambunctious demon spirit, to scare the house's new residents away. With the new release of Beetlejuice 2, I have to have the classic original in my collection, which always holds a special place in my heart. The Addams Family follows a bizarre, macabre, aristocratic family who reconnect with someone they believe to be a long-lost relative, Gomez's brother Fester. Love this movie so much. Love Christina Ricci and Angelica Houston and everybody. These characters are so iconic and have become a part of horror and Halloween and just super gothy. The Munsters, Monster Go Home. The monsters travel to England after Herman inherits his uncle's English estate. However, they discover a group of criminals is occupying their new home. I love The Munsters so much. It's one of my favorite like classic TV series. So had to have this little movie in my collection. And the case is so cute. I love the font and all of them featured on it. It's just so cute. Next up I have Goosebumps, The Haunted Mask. This one is a clamshell VHS. A shy adolescent discovers a creepy lifelike mask and decides to use it to scare the boys who tease and humiliate her. So this is one episode of the 90s Goosebumps TV show. Then I have the entirety of the Twilight Zone TV series on VHS, the original 1959 TV series presented by Rod Serling. Each episode presents a standalone story in which characters find themselves dealing with often disturbing or unusual events, an experience described as entering the Twilight Zone. This is one of my favorite shows, just in general, not even related to horror or Halloween, but it is such a spooky watch and really like pushes the boundaries, especially for the time, the 50s and 60s. Like, this is ahead of its time. Love it so much. Next I have The Crow Salvation. This is the sequel to the original Crow movie. Alex Corvus is falsely convicted of brutally murdering his girlfriend. He maintains his innocence, but after 3 years on death row, he's electrocuted and resurrected by his guardian crow. This features Kirsten Dunst, and it is not considered a good movie. I mean, clearly, the original Crow is just iconic, and I would love to find that one to add to my collection. But I do love The Crow, so when I saw this, I was like, let me grab it. Next, I have Army of Darkness. Ash is transported back to medieval days where he is captured by the dreaded Lord Arthur. Aided by the deadly chainsaw that has become his only friend, Ash is sent on a mission to recover the Book of the Dead, a powerful tome that gives its owner the power to summon an army of ghouls. This cover looks so cool. I just love it. And this is another classic. This movie features the Necronomicon, which is like an ancient evil tome. And this is the movie that popularized the Necronomicon in horror, I would say. Next, I have The Hunger, starring David Bowie. This film follows a love triangle between a doctor who specializes in sleep and aging research and a vampire couple. So David Bowie playing a vampire, have to have that. And I have Ghost Ship. In a remote region of the Bering Sea, a boat salvage crew discovers the eerie remains of a grand passenger liner thought to be lost for more than 40 years, but once on board, they discover that it's anything but deserted and home to something deadly and horrific. I've never seen this one. I have yet to watch this one, so I'm gonna watch this one tonight and we'll see what I think of it. There are a couple of movies that are not yet in my collection that I am on the hunt for and I want to add to my collection. I really want to add The Craft to my collection. That's one of my favorite movies, as well as Practical Magic. Those are two of my favorite witchy movies and I have to have them. I also really want to add The Texas Chainsaw Massacre on VHS because that's my favorite horror movie. Have to have it on VHS. As well as House of a Thousand Corpses. That's my favorite Rob Zombie movie. I also really want to get Terrifier on VHS, Terrifier 1 and 2. I've seen that they do like some VHS prints of that and I really want to add that to my collection. I also would really want to add The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown on VHS. That's always so hard to watch every year. Like, nowhere streaming it. They don't have it in full on YouTube, so you have to go to some sketchy website to watch it. So I just want to have it in my collection so I can watch it whenever I want. As well as Halloween Town. That's another Halloween classic that I want to have on VHS. And I just think it's cool to have these movies that I would watch growing up on VHS in my collection because that's kind of like what they were made to be seen on. I also would like to add Carrie on VHS. So that is my horror VHS collection. Make sure to subscribe and follow me on my socials, linked down below, so you stay up to date on all of my content. I will also be doing my horror DVD collection for you very soon, but I have tons of Halloween and spooky themed content coming up all season long, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of it. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.